Assalamualaikum. Our today lecture is in continuation of the previous lecture. Today we are going to discuss about pharmacokinetic models. So as we know that movement of drug within our body is a very complex procedure. There are a lot of events that occur, that is absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion, and all of these are actually occurring simultaneously. So to describe this complex and overlapping pharmacokinetic processes, some assumptions are made, and these assumptions are regarding the movement of the drugs, and certain pharmacokinetic parameters are developed on the basis of the movement of drug. So these pharmacokinetic models basically provides us concise means of mathematical expressions, and we can quantify the time course of drug throughout the body, and with this we can compute some meaningful pharmacokinetic parameters. So presently there are three types of pharmacokinetic analysis of drugs that are being used. Number one is compartment models, number two is non-compartment models, and number third is physiological models. Now what are compartment models? It is the traditional and most commonly used approach for the characterization, pharmacokinetic characterization of the drugs. In this, body is considered to be composed of different compartments, several compartments that communicate reversibly with each other. As we know that there is infinite number of compartments in the body. For example, we can say that each organ or tissue or body fluid is a compartment. So some tissues which possess or they have approximately similar drug distribution characteristics, they are basically pooled to form a kinetically homogeneous hypothetical compartment. So on this basis we basically made some compartments in our body. So these compartments are only basically mathematical entities, and there is no physiological or anatomical meaning of these. So these model consists of one, two, or at least three compartments: one compartment model, two compartment model, or three compartment model, and they are arranged parallel to each other, and they are basically used to describe the pharmacokinetics of most drugs. Then comes another term which is called open models. So all these models are called open models. It is so because we assume that there is no restriction to the movement of drugs between the compartments, and the drugs freely move between those compartments, from one compartment to the other compartment. So, another assumption that is made is that drug transfer between the compartments and the rate of elimination from the drug compartments always follow linear kinetics. Let us now discuss one compartment open model. So it is basically the simplest model, and it consists of a body as a single kinetically homogeneous unit. In this model, the final distribution equilibria between the drug and plasma and the other body fluids is attained rapidly, and it is considered that this equilibrium is maintained at all the times. So it means that if there is any change in the plasma level of drugs, it reflects proportional change in the tissue concentrations. So the one compartment or open model basically applies to those drugs which distribute very rapidly throughout the body, and this model is generally used to describe the plasma levels following the administration of the single dose of drug. So uh, different observations following either intravenous administration or extravascular administration of drugs can be made by using this type of model. Let us discuss one compartment open model when a single intravenous bolus administration is being given into a body. One thing that must be clearly understood before starting of this topic is that whenever we want to understand the characteristics of the compartment model, it is better to give an intravenous bolus dose and then observing the pattern in which the concentration in the plasma declines with the time. So, the number of the exponents that are required, that are basically required to describe such plasma level time profile basically determines the number of compartments in which a drug will distribute. So let us start with this intravenous bolus administration. So when a drug that distributes instantaneously in the body, that is when it is given by IV route, the entire dose of the drug enters the body, as is the case with the IV route, and it is distributed immediately via circulation to all the tissues. So it means that in such a situation, the concentration time curve will be obtained as a straight line. This is the straight line when we plot it on a semi-log graph paper, and it will show us a monophasic. This is a monophase, there is single phase, and there is an exponential decline. This decline in concentration in the plasma is exponential. Just see here that 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So there is a exponential decline with respect to time. So the decline in plasma concentration occurs only due to the elimination of the drug in the body, right? So it means that this phase where the elimination is occurring is basically the elimination phase, and we will denote this phase as beta. Now what happens to the distribution phase? As we have discussed that we have given the dose via IV route, so whenever we administer a drug through intravenous route, the distribution phase is normally neglected, as we assume that all of the drug is directly entered into the circulation. And we have discussed it before that whenever that when we given a dose of the drug, it is distributed throughout the tissues. So that's why the distribution phase is neglected in calculation. And this distribution is so rapid in case of intravenous infusion that we cannot show it on the graph. So that's why there is only decline in plasma concentration with respect to time. So the extrapolated zero time intercept of the linear elimination phase gives the coefficient beta that I have mentioned to, that this is the phase, and when we extrapolate it to the y-axis, this will give us the slope, that is the beta, and elimination rate constant, that is denoted by b. Now the coefficient b, this is the extrapolated value of this decrease in plasma concentration, and this b is basically the point where this curve joins the y-axis. So value of b basically estimates the zero time concentration of the drug in the body, that it is the time at which the drug enters the body, and as the route is intravenous, so it immediately follows the elimination phase. So when we extrapolate it towards y-axis, this b coefficient actually tells us the actual concentration at the time of administration, or we can call it as c naught, and in some books it is noted by cp naught, that is concentration in plasma at zero time interval. And when we discuss one compartment open model with respect to extravascular administration. Extravascular administration means that a route like oral route or intramuscular route, where the absorption is a prerequisite for the action of the drug to be occurred. So if it is extravascular administration, then it means that drug has to be distributed according to one compartment open model, and the rate in the change in concentration is in the central compartment is described by two exponents. Now what are those two exponents? Number one is the absorption. This is the first exponent that describes the extravascular administration in case of one compartment open model. As we have discussed that in this the body is considered as a single compartment. So this is the absorption exponent, and then the other one is the elimination exponent, that is the beta. Look at these figures. This is the case in this will be the graph in case of intravenous route. You are saying that on semi-log graph paper there is only a decline phase, there is only a elimination phase denoted by beta, and when we plot the same graph on a regular when we plot the same values on a regular graph, we will get a curve like this. So this is the case this is the case when we express extravascular administration in case of one compartment open model. So let us now discuss two compartment open model. Two compartment open model assumes that the body is composed of two compartments. One is the central compartment and other is the peripheral compartment. The central compartment is also called as compartment 1, and peripheral compartment is also called as compartment 2. So the central compartment consists of blood and highly perfused organs, for example kidneys, lungs, livers, heart, etc., brain. And the peripheral compartment consists of less perfused organs like muscles, bones, joints, etc., skin. So the drug is directly administered, for example, if it is IV route or if it is absorbed extravascular route into the central compartment. It must be remembered that drug is basically administered into the central compartment, and then different organs present in it will equilibrate with it. So elimination of drug again occurs from the central compartment. It is because the main organs for the elimination purposes are present in the central compartment. For example, liver and kidneys are present in the central compartment. Now, the distribution of drug from the peripheral compartment is through the central compartment. Again, central compartment has the utmost importance, as it is being transferred from the drug is being transferred from the central compartment, and it occurs very slowly. It is normally assumed that drug transfer from the central compartment to the peripheral compartment and from peripheral compartment to the central compartment always follows the first order process, and the rate of transfer is defined by some constants, and we define this constant by a letter k. So if the subscript indicates the direction of drug movement 1 2, it means that drug is being transferred from compartment 1 to 2, that is from central compartment to the peripheral compartment. And if it is written as K21, it means that drug is being transferred from the peripheral compartment to the central compartment. So when intravenous bolus drug is administered to a system which follows two compartment open model, the curve that is obtained is basically bi-exponential. And why it is bi-exponential? Because there are two exponents, this one and this one. Let us discuss it. When we plot this on a semi-log graph paper, when we plot these values on this semi-log graph paper, the plasma concentration declines rapidly in the first phase. This is the rapid decline in the concentration, which is the first phase, and followed by there is a terminal shallow decline. This is the shallow decline. So the initial steep decline, this is the initial steep decline in the drug concentration, is basically due to the distribution of drug from the central compartment to the peripheral compartment, and this terminal shallow decline is due to the elimination of drug from the central compartment. So the linear terminal portion of curve is called elimination phase. From here to here, this is the linear terminal portion. It is called as elimination phase. And resolving the bi-exponential curve, this is a bi-exponential curve, into its components. If we want to distribute this bi-exponential curve, number one exponent is this, number two exponent is this, and if we want to resolve this bi-exponential curve into its components by a method which is called method of residuals, or it is also called feathering technique, it yields the other linear segment, and this linear segment is called as distribution phase. Now this is the distribution phase, as you are seeing here. This is originated when we are trying to resolve this bio-exponential curve. On the result will be this distribution phase, and we will call it as residual line, and it is denoted by a letter A. Here it is the letter A. We will express this distribution line with the letter A, and the elimination phase by letter B. Now this is letter B and this is the elimination phase. When we extrapolate this elimination phase towards the y-axis, the point where it is meet with this intercept is called B, and these sum of coefficient, that is the coefficient A and this coefficient B, that actually gives us the initial concentration or the concentration at the zero time interval, or the C naught or Cp naught in case of two compartment open model. So now as we are discussing that there are two compartment model, so alpha is the rate constant for distribution. Where is alpha? This is alpha. So this is basically a rate constant for distribution, this dotted line, and beta is the rate constant for elimination, and this beta is basically is the rate constant for elimination, and they are expressed, this alpha and beta is expressed in terms of reciprocal of time. Reciprocal of time means that per hour or per minute. So this beta, this one, it is used for rate constant for elimination from the entire body, right? Whereas if we use K elimination, it is used for the rate constant for elimination of drug from the central compartment. That if we are using K elimination, it means that we are measuring the rate constant for the elimination of drug from the central compartment, and if we are using this beta, then we are basically measuring the rate constant for elimination from the entire body. And it is when we are performing drug dispositional studies, the coefficients A, this one, and coefficient B, this one, and the rate constants alpha and this rate constant beta, they are calculated from this experimental data by least square regression analysis. So another thing that might come into your mind is that from where did we get this residual line? See, if we extrapolate this elimination phase line towards its intercept, here there is a line, there is a coefficient where we have mentioned beta. Now we will subtract these values from the values of the steep decrease in concentration, from these values, that we will subtract this value from this value from this value from this value from this. Just I am talking just for example, and the values that comes after subtracting the concentration, these concentrations, subtracting these concentrations from these concentrations, the resultant lines will be plotted here. This is the method of residual actually. So if we administer some drug via extravascular route, and we are studying two compartment open model, so it means that drug that is entered is distributed, and according to two compartment open model, the rate of change in drug concentration in plasma is described by three components. Now these three components or three exponents. Now what are three exponents? This one is the first exponent, that is the K absorption, which is necessary in case of extravascular route of administration. Then there is a steep decrease in concentration, that is the alpha phase, as we have discussed in intravenous route. And then there is a shallow decrease in concentration, that is the beta. This is the alpha and beta in case of IV route, and this is the alpha and beta in case of extravascular route. But there is a third exponent in case of extravascular route, that is the K absorption.